You mentioned wanting to evaluate defense specifically today, holding them under 40% shooting. What did you like about that into the floor, especially as it helped you guys get back in the game?
I liked our aggressiveness. I liked the fact that we picked up, pretty much 94 feet, that they didn't get anything easy. I mean, it's not often that you come out with a win and games where you shoot 30% from the floor. And I felt like our defense really held, gave us an opportunity to get back in the game, gave us an opportunity to finish the game. We will evaluate certain lineups and different things that we did. But most importantly, I felt like we competed at a really high level on that end of the floor.
You mentioned the shooting percentage. On the offensive end, is there anything that stood out to you problematically, rhythmically? What kind of kept you guys from getting going on that?
Yeah, nothing that you don't expect at this time of the year. I think our spacing, our timing, rushing through some of the points of execution, screening, passing the ball ahead, putting some pressure on the defense early in our offense. I felt like we got a little bit stagnant. The ball was not moving at 1 second. But that's all stuff that's going to clean up, and it's going to come with time. And I think when you've got so many new players and a new system, it's going to take a moment to go. But again, the fact that we were able to shoot as poorly as we did and still come out with a win is a credit to this group and their commitment on the other end.
What did Sophie's energy mean to you guys?
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is. She's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. Her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
You've talked about having like a player-led team, and Kelsey talked about that 17-5 run in the second quarter. That was a lot player-led. Just what did it mean to kind of have them take the lead on that? It's
huge. It's exactly what we need to have. We've got to have that accountability to be able to problem solve in live action. You can't take a timeout always to problem solve. We have to over communicate, and that's part of the being selfless. Like, sometimes you have to give in different ways, and communication is an easy way for you to give. And I felt like that group really started doing that. The intensity level picked up because of that. When you hear somebody behind you, they have your back. When you hear the call on the screen early, it allows you the time that you need to process it and then put that processing into action. And I thought that it gave us a really good lift.
And Caitlin seemed pretty active on the bench today. Just what was her leadership like? Just kind of on the sidelines, and do you have a status for her for tomorrow as well?
Yeah, first of all, her communication was outstanding. Seeing different things on the floor and being able to communicate that in huddle. I heard a lot of different voices, but when you're not playing, it gives you a different perspective, and I felt like she did a really good job of that with her teammates, and she did a really good job of that with us and the coaching staff. Just different things that she's seeing, different pointers for us in terms of maybe even communication style. I thought she was really engaged, and I felt like at one point she wanted to go back and put her uniform on and come out and play. As far as status update, she had a lot of progress in the last 24 hours, and that was our goal. Our goal was to see how she progresses every day. So we'll see what happens and see how she feels after the workouts that she went through today, and then hopefully she'll be ready to go tomorrow.
You touched on Sophie, but Lexie as well kind of brought that similar energy, and they shared the court a lot together, especially at the end of the game. What did you like about what they were able to do together, especially defensively?
Well, first and foremost, they play so hard. They play with multiple levels of effort. They're both just tough as nails. They have length. They use their length really well. Their activity level on the defensive end and offensively. They're like mirror images of one another. The way that they can cut, the way that they can spread the floor, and what they bring on the defensive end of the floor. So I like them playing on the floor together. I thought they played off of one another really well. We put Sophie in position where she was running the point guard, right? We put Lexie in position at the end of the game where she was running the point guard. And so I'm thankful to have players like that who are comfortable being uncomfortable and doing what's necessary for our team to find success. That's part of, one of our core values is be selfless, and sometimes that means playing out of position. And I thought they both did a great job of that, but really like their energy and competitive spirit.
Time for two more.
What did you think of Michaela Timpson, her pro debut, and what she gave you? I guess overtime gives you an opportunity to see a little bit extra.
Man, I'll smile every time she's on the floor, and you just see some of the things that she does that you can't teach. I thought she played with great pace. And oftentimes with young players, they get sped up in environments like this. And I thought she played with great pace. She didn't move and crowd space. When she didn't know what to do, she stopped and she took a breath before she created an action. And those are really good habits for young players to have. Told her one time that she needed to have every rebound, and I think she was in there, at least got a hand on the ball every single time. I thought she looked really good.
With the communication as great as it was from coaches, from players, why do you think everyone's so in tune with one another just a week in?
I think the commitment to being the best that we can be, right? There's no doubt that these returning players want an opportunity to compete at the highest level and position ourselves to have success. They embrace the veteran leadership that we brought in, the experience that we brought in. They want the challenge, right? They want to meet the moment. And these veteran players understand and they recognize and respect the competitive fire from our young players. And so I think overwhelmingly there's just a strong respect for one another. And they're all competitors. I mean, every single player that's in our locker room is a competitor. They want to be the best. They want to sacrifice whatever needs to sacrifice so that we can be the best team that we can be.
By making so many free throws today, and such a high percentage, is that like a free ad for you to the players to say, see, they matter, and that you should keep practicing these and it should stand up really for the whole season?
I don't think this is a group that we have to say that to. We've got, in terms of like just free throw percentages and understanding the importance, I think they know that. The difference in winning and losing ball games oftentimes is at the free throw line. And they did a really good job when our shots weren't falling of forcing action, of getting themselves opportunities to see the ball go through the net, and to get some scoring opportunities from the line. It also allows us to set our defense. And so, when you have a really good shooting team, you've got to be careful to not fall in love with just chucking shots up and living and dying by the three. And I felt like we did a good job of balancing our attacks and our ability to get to the free throw line.
Thank you, Sophie.